You're watching America's leading pay TV network, HBO.
The heavyweight division in the 60s and 70s was dominated by Muhammad Ali. His flamboyance in and out of the ring revitalized the sport of boxing. But by the late 70s, as the greatest lost his luster, a new champion waited in the wings. Larry Holmes emerged as the WBC heavyweight champion in 1978 after a brutal 15-round decision with Ken Norton. Now, 5 years later, he is on the verge of retirement. And another champion, Michael Dokes, who won the WBA heavyweight title with a first-round knockout over Mike Weaver, seeks public recognition. But first, he must get by the man with the bionic fist, Gerrie Coetzee. The WBA's #1 contender has one of the most feared knockout punches in boxing.
Maybe I can't talk as good as I fight, but I can sure promise you I'll fight better than what I talk.
The only way I can see Coetzee would be victorious is to kill me.
Takes on Gerrie Coetzee in the second defense of his WBA title. We're in the heartland of America, the Midwest, the picturesque state of Ohio near the banks of Lake Erie and the city of Cleveland. And if you travel about 70 miles south, you'll come to Akron, Ohio, known as the tire capital of the world. Akron not only manufactures automotive accessories, it also produces champions like Michael Dokes. And halfway between these cities sits the rural town of Richfield, which is the home of a beautiful arena. And we're live from the Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio, where HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing. The main event, WBA heavyweight champion Michael Dokes defends his crown against the #1 contender, Gerrie Coetzee. We're down the road from the champion's hometown in Akron, and his avid supporters have made the short trip and are ready to rock this beautiful arena with vocal support for their hero. Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. What's more, along with Sugar Ray Leonard and Larry Merchant, Coetzee and Dokes, a fight about which there are a number of question marks. Is Michael Dokes coming back too soon from a tough 15-round fight just 4 months ago? How is the right hand of Gerrie Coetzee really? And another big question mark, the stamina of both fighters. Ray Leonard, one thing that is not at all a question mark, we know both these men are going to come out firing at the opening bell.
Well, Barry, it's apparent both men can punch. We might just see a replay of what took place when Dokes stopped Weaver the first encounter.
How do you see this fight going, and what do you think about the fact that Michael Dokes is coming back just 4 months after a tough fight, not unlike your own with Roberto Duran?
Well, the second fight that Michael Dokes had with Mike Weaver, it was a very physical fight. It took a lot out of Michael Dokes, but Michael Dokes is a young fighter, a very aggressive fighter, and youth is always an advantage.
Well, you know, these two guys might be the original odd couple. For all their differences, they are alike. For all their similarities, they are different. Each can win for a different reason.
Because he's quick, he's young, and he's still fresh. He just won the title. He doesn't want to lose it in his second defense. It's going to be difficult. I was always competitive. I always wanted to do a little bit better than what my friends did.
Meet Gerrie Coetzee, a man with many goals. Gerrie Coetzee was born and raised in South Africa, a soft-spoken, private family man who as a child was taught to reach for the highest goals. He's been a dental technician, a racehorse owner, and the proprietor of a tire dealership. But Gerrie is best known as a boxer, a career that began with some prodding from the medical profession, of all things.
I had severe asthma, and the doctor recommended that I should take up a sport, and because my father has been a fighter, and it took me to the gym.
He took to the gym as though he was born there. With his father by his side, Coetzee racked up 235 amateur and professional fights. Recurrent injuries to his right hand produced a scientific phenomenon.
Since I had my first problem back in '77, I had 15 hand operations. What they've done a fusion right across, this way and sideways. It's one solid piece of bone in the hand. And, well, if I was younger, I would have had my left hand being done the same as my right hand, and I would have had 2 bionic hands.
Well, the difference is that he is a power and a killer, and I'm a speed and I'm a thriller.
Besides a common boxing interest, the only similarities between Coetzee and Dokes are their differences. A 25-year-old flamboyant bachelor, he calls himself Dynamite and credits his mother as being the most influential person in his boxing career. He grew up 10,000 miles from South Africa, in Akron, Ohio, virtually another world when compared to the apartheid homeland of Gerrie Coetzee. At the age of 12, he began his boxing career and excelled as an amateur, along with fellow American teammates Sugar Ray Leonard, Aaron Pryor, and Leon Spinks. Before each fight, he carries a trademark to the ring, different from any other boxer.
I throw roses prior to every fight, a tribute to my mother and also to all the females that come to the fight to patronize the fight. The show is just not a barbaric sport. It's more of a artistic type of thing.
Managed by Don King's son, Carl, Michael has refined his art at King's Boxing Camp in Orwell, Ohio. On December 10th, in a controversial ending, Dokes stopped WBA champion Mike Weaver 63 seconds into the first round of a championship fight. These two men have one thing in common: boxing, and specifically the WBA Heavyweight Championship of the World. While Akron, Ohio is a long way from Boksburg, South Africa, the two corners of the ring produce a common ground. The result of the confrontation depends on how well they know each other, round for round.
Round 13 of Coetzee, Weaver fight. Coetzee is not as effective moving backwards as he is coming forward. Good shot by Weaver. He may have showed me something there. Surprising thing about this fight, Weaver is catching Coetzee with his left jab. Straight right here and took him out. Where I would have went about it was probably in the later rounds, just as Weaver did to apply pressure to Coetzee. I don't think he's as devastating a puncher in the later rounds as he is in the earlier rounds.
He's got that idea that he can stop everybody in the first round. Dokes is all over Weaver. He's throwing very quick punches. I don't think it's that powerful. Any heavyweight is a powerful puncher, but if the referee is stepping in, it looks like he wants to break the fight. Then he's lifting Dokes' hands, and I don't think Dokes can really believe it. I don't think it was fair that the referee stopped the fight that quick and that Dokes got the fight and taking the title from Weaver that easy.
You can see that in the later rounds that Coetzee's right hand isn't as devastating as it would be in the early rounds. This is round number 10 of Coetzee's most recent fight with Pico and Thomas. I feel another thing that would be good with Coetzee is the overhand right. He looks like he's very vulnerable for overhand right. One thing they always say, a guy that throws the right hand can be caught with the right hand. And that's just the key right here with Pico and Thomas. Thomas showed me the overhand right was very effective in this fight, which I think that is one of my main attributes is my overhand right.
To me, what Dokes is showing me here is that he did tire in the later rounds. That's one of his weak spots I gotta concentrate on. I'm very sure that he never expected this kind of fight from Mike Weaver. Dokes really is just hanging on in this last round, and he hasn't got that hand speed he had in the earlier rounds. They're just both slugging it out. Now, I knew I gave Weaver also one hell of a fight. Now, I'm training with Americans. My style is changing. So I'm giving myself a better chance than what I had in 1981.
Tonight, it's September 23rd, 1983. This is the battle for the WBA heavyweight title. The fight is far from over. So it's the WBA Heavyweight Championship between the champion Michael Dokes, the challenger Gerrie Coetzee. It's been a long time between championship fights for the good folks of Cleveland, and would you know it, our boxing sage Larry Merchant remembers. Larry?
Barry, the last time I was in this building, Muhammad Ali fought Chuck Wepner. That night 8 years ago was memorable for two reasons. The first is that Wepner, affectionately known as the Bayonne Bleeder, a club fighter, fought so valiantly that he inspired Sylvester Stallone to invent the character Rocky Balboa. Also, there was an inspirational pep talk that night before the 15th round by one of Wepner's co-handlers, the late Patty Flood. He said to Wepner, "Look, you have everything. You're big in Bayonne. You have a bar. You have beautiful women. You have a big car. We have nothing, so go out there and win it for us." Well, there is a vague connection between that night and tonight, and not because Coetzee is a club fighter. He's acquitted himself admirably and professionally against some of the best heavyweights in the world. But he does need pep talking. He confesses that he has held American heavyweights too much in awe in the past, starting with his worship of Muhammad Ali. He's like the small-town kid who really doesn't believe he can make it in the big, big time. Well, all that is behind him now, he insists. We'll see about that tonight. The odds makers say it ain't so, and they say it vehemently, and so does the champion. We're here to find out if it's true or not. Barry?
Okay, thank you very much, Larry. No time like the present for this man to get some confidence, Ray Leonard. The other side of that coin, while Gerrie Coetzee has been in awe of Muhammad Ali, Michael Dokes never has been. He told Ali when he was 15 years old, "I'm gonna get you, old man." He never really did, but now he is the champion.
Well, the name of success is the fact that one must believe within himself. And the only thing I don't like about Gerrie Coetzee is the fact that his self-confidence, he lacks very little of that.
Well, he has said that himself. In fact, by his own admission, he is a 10-round fighter. And that's something I think he's got to start to believe, that at least he can go 15 rounds.
Well, he can go 15 rounds. He's always in tip-top shape, Barry, and the fact that he punches so hard.
This man, though, has been a noted front-runner. He's been ahead in almost every one of the fights that he lost, to John Tate, to Mike Weaver. Almost all of those fights, he has been ahead and has lost in the closing rounds. Snipes was another guy.
Well, I think what we're going to see tonight is the fact that Michael Dokes may just run upon him, try to get him out early, or it may be just the other way around. Gerrie Coetzee may attack Dokes in the early round.
You take a look at the won and lost record of Gerrie Coetzee. It is impressive, but this, of course, is his third chance, and you have to think his last shot at a title.
One of the paradoxes of Coetzee is that he is widely respected for having a good punch, but at the same time, when he fought John Tate and Mike Weaver, we didn't see any evidence of it. Most of the evidence, of course, comes from that early knockout of Spinks.
And that, of course, was really set up by a vicious body punch to the ribs. That slowed Spinks down, and even though Coetzee knocked him down 3 times before the fight was stopped, it was that one punch that really made the difference. He's a heavy-handed puncher. We talk about the fact that maybe he hasn't had the greatest confidence in himself, but one thing he said earlier, remember he was a dental technician, and he said, I make teeth during the day, and I knock them out at night. So that certainly would show that at least early in his career he had a little bit of confidence in himself.
Well, and you can also look at it this way. After a couple of operations that fused some bones in his hand, he knocked out Spinks. And since that time, He's had 13 more operations on that hand. My God, how powerful he must be now.
And in fact, even before his last fight with Pinklon Thomas, which was a draw, that fight had to be postponed because once again he broke the right hand, and that was subsequent to the latest operation. So Gerrie Coetzee in the ring now, and of course, as is commonplace, Michael Dokes will just make him wait for a little bit of time here. His last fight, he had the lead once again over Pinklon Thomas, and he let Thomas catch him. In the later rounds, the fight wound up being a draw. But if there's anything good about a draw, you'd have to say for Gerrie Coetzee, that was a good draw.
It was another good professional fighter he fought. Pinklon Thomas is 20-0 at the time. He, again, acquitted himself well. He belongs in this ring. Unlike some of the recent contenders for the heavyweight championship of both the WBA and the WBC.
Ray Leonard, let me ask you, it's a simple fact, I think, that Michael Dokes is going to charge him at the bell. What does Gerrie Coetzee have to do?
Well, Gerrie Coetzee can stop that with one punch, a left jab. Because the jab, it stops one's rhythm. And if Coetzee should let Michael Dokes get off fast and early, he could be in a little trouble.
They have said, as a matter of fact, that if Gerrie Coetzee has any flaw in his form at all, he hasn't been able to put a man away because he never punches in combinations of more than two.
Well, he needs to come back with a left hook once in a while.
And here is the man making his way into the ring now, who is the champion of the WBA, Michael Dokes. This is his second title defense. His first title defense ended in a draw, and many people thought that Mike Weaver actually won that second fight. So this is going to be a real test for him.
Well, Michael Dokes, sometimes what happens in a fighter, he gets overconfident, especially after such a victorious win over Mike Weaver the first time around. He lays back and indulges in a social life, and the second time around, it becomes a tough fight. But this time, Michael Dokes, I'm sure, he trained very, very hard for this guy.
You know, we talk about confidence in a fighter, and we say Gerrie Coetzee may have a little bit of lack of confidence. Somebody said about Michael Dokes, in fact, a number of people said about Michael Dokes when he was younger, that he would be a lot better off if people would stop telling him how great he is.
Well, I like people tell me how great I was.
Well, you was.
Yeah, and Dokes was a very precocious fighter as a youngster. You know, he fought Teofilo Stevenson when he was 16 years old. And Stevenson then was on the top of his game, the greatest amateur in the world, and incidentally, the only man who ever decked Dokes. He hasn't been on the floor since then.
Well, in fact, he decked him in the first round, and a lot of people who were at that fight say that Dokes actually outfought him from there on.
Oh, he did. Dokes was a very, in fact, we were a Pan-American team. Dokes was a very small heavyweight.
So Michael Dokes is now in the ring, and one thing you've always said, a fighter's got to be warm coming out of the locker room, Ray, as you look at Michael Dokes' record. And there's no question about it, Dokes has come into the ring fired up and very warm.
And a point to bring out, look at Gerrie Coetzee. He's dry, no perspiration. Michael Dokes just flowing with perspiration.
Michael Dokes has been telling people, even as late as this evening, he wants to go out there and get Gerrie Coetzee, and I mean right now.
I'm expecting that from the very first round.
Both fighters, of course, coming in with very comparable numbers. Coetzee, 3 years the elder of Dokes, but other than that, there's really very little to choose. Dokes, a couple pounds heavier than Coetzee, but interestingly enough, he has come in lighter than his second fight with Mike Weaver. Now, his people have said that they wanted him a little bulkier for the Weaver fight because of the heat in Las Vegas. There is nothing like that here. Common opponents, George Chaplin, and who can forget him? Both men beat George Chaplin by decision. Mike Weaver, of course, being knocked out by Michael Dokes in one round and knocked out Gerrie Coetzee in 13 rounds. Another fight that Gerrie Coetzee was well in front. And then, of course, the most recent title defense by Michael Dokes, that the draw with Mike Weaver. But, of course, Dokes retaining his heavyweight championship. Both of these fighters, of course, coming off very impressive and long amateur careers. 147-7 for Michael Dokes, 201-2 as an amateur for Gerrie Coetzee. I don't think there's any question, Larry Merchant, this is going to be a very solid test for Michael Dokes.
Yes, and something should be mentioned here, which is that there are about 800 of Coetzee's countrymen who have made the trip all the way here to see him. He is the hope of that country, although he now lives in America. They have never had an Afrikaner champion. They've had a couple of South Africans in the lower weight divisions who have become champions, but never an Afrikaner.
4 o'clock in the morning in South Africa. A lot of folks up watching this one on television. Let's go to the ring announcer, Dan Coughlin, for the introductions of the two fighters.
Good evening, fight fans everywhere. Promoter Don King welcomes you to the College Coliseum in Richfield and his Buckeye homecoming. This is the 97th World Championship bout promoted by Don King. It is the first under the auspices of the new Ohio Boxing Commission. It is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association. 15 rounds for the World Heavyweight Championship. Here are your officials. The WBA supervisor is Mel Ziegler. Representing the Ohio Boxing Commission is Commission Chairman Joseph Gennaro. The ringside judges from Venezuela, Fernando Viso. From Puerto Rico, Samuel Conde. And from Montreal, Guy Jutras. The referee working his 42nd championship bout from Puerto Rico, Tony Perez. The 10-point must scoring system is in use tonight. The timekeeper is Chet O'Kelly. Counting at the knockdowns, Hank Freedy. Introducing from Boksburg, South Africa, now living in America, the WBA's #1 contender with a record of 28-3-1 with 17 knockouts, weighing 215 pounds, Gerrie Coetzee. Defending his World Heavyweight Championship for the second time since winning it in December. Unbeaten in 28 fights with 2 draws, 15 knockouts, weighing 217 pounds, the reigning WBA heavyweight champion, Akron's own Michael Dokes.
Tony Perez, the referee, will call the two fighters together in the center of the ring. One other thing to keep in mind, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect tonight.
No questions at all. No questions. Shake hands, make the best man win. Good luck to both of you.
So you don't like to think that a turning point in a fight could come with the opening bell, and yet, Ray, I have the feeling it will.
I have a feeling that Michael Dokes is going to race right up to the corner of Gerrie Coetzee, throw a lot of punches and try to get him out early.
I completely agree with you. He has told people that.
Let me disagree, because one of us should be right here.
That's true.
One of us will be right.
Well, of course, that is the way he fought the first time against Mike Weaver. The fight lasted 63 seconds, albeit a controversial decision to stop the fight. Round 1. And Dokes does not charge, and Coetzee comes out quickly. Center of the ring. That's 1 for Larry Merchant.
Both men are tight. And it's going to take a round or so, if it goes that long, before they loosen up. And in the first round, when the 2 fighters are tight, anything can happen. You can expect an early knockdown or even a knockout, Barry.
Remember, both these fighters, notorious front runners. Against Weaver, Dokes actually got a second win. Combinations by Coetzee getting the better of that exchange.
You saw what happened just then. Gerrie Coetzee was able to land a solid right hand on Michael Dokes' chin. And what's going to happen when both fighters exchange punches, because they both possess great punching power. What I see in Gerrie Coetzee Coetzee now is just the fact that he's extending that left jab, not trying to land it, but trying to measure Michael Dokes for that overhand right.
Again, the criticism has been that Coetzee has not been able to come back with a left hook behind the right hand.
Well, a lot of times, Bird, the fact that the power of that right hand, a lot of times is not necessary.
And the crowd getting a little bit antsy here, I think, a little bit early.
That was a good body shot by Gerrie Coetzee. In fact, he's followed through his strategy and plan, the fact of backing up Michael Dokes, because he feels that's the best approach to his fight.
Actually, Dokes right at the moment looks rather stiff-legged. I haven't seen him be quite as immobile as he is right now, but as you mentioned, he might just be a little bit tight early on.
He is a little tight, Barry, and coming in late. In fact, Michael Dokes came in a little late, and preparation is the key to a fight. Must be relaxed.
So far, Coetzee has been able to keep Michael Dokes off of him. But remember, Dokes has said the way to fight him, as you heard him say earlier, is to back up.
Michael Dokes, look at his stance. He's flat-footed. In other words, he's going to get a lot of power behind, a lot of leverage in his punches.
Sonny, sit in your chair.
Coetzee is showing a proper amount of respect, not really taking the fight to Dokes.
Michael Dokes is trying to cut the ring off. He's not just following Gerrie Coetzee, he's cutting the ring. Every time Gerrie Coetzee moves to his right, you'll notice Michael Dokes will move to his left. Shorten the ring up. Get closer.
A round where both men feeling each other out. The left hand scored. The first two missed. The Dokes come back with a left hand of his own. End of round one. Interesting round, I think, Larry.
Yes, I'm struck by a couple of things. One is that the challenger has had as many championship fights as the champion, and he seems actually cooler. He also seems bigger, even though the statistics say he doesn't.
Right? Keep the upper body moving. What he's doing, he's charging at you. You see him charging at you. You see him charging at you, trying to fire the right hand over top, and he raises up on his toe. Then he's trying to stop you from moving that way by moving the left hand, right? When he gives you the upper body, when he stands there and you're, give me your machine gun jab and roll underneath. Don't come back straight. Put it in there. You understand? Don't come back straight, Captain. You don't come back straight at no time. Setting him up with your jab.
Let's go to Coetzee's corner.
Well, I think what you saw there is an example of two very organized corners, Ray.
Well, I would say Bobby Lewis gave very good instructions to Michael Dokes. Don't move straight back, because what's going to happen, he's going to get in the corner, and Gerrie Coetzee is going to throw those straight punches.
Dokes has picked up the pace a little bit here. Coetzee lunges. Coetzee seems to have a lot of crowd support here, actually, surprisingly.
Dokes was also instructed in the corner to move his upper body a little more. Not to be a stationary target, because Coetzee is trying to set him up once again for that right hand. You notice Coetzee's right hand is down. Michael Dokes has a very good and solid left hook. And when he comes back with it, it's so sharp and so accurate. He's taking a lot of guys out with that punch.
Stuck it in there pretty good once right there. And now doing exactly as Bobby Lewis's cornerman had told him.
Watch for the left hook by Michael Dokes. I think that would be one of the key punches in this fight. Once he's able to get in close enough.
A lot of measuring going on between these two right now. Also a lot of respect for each other's punching abilities. Effective jabs up and down by Dokes. And a good right hand by Coetzee. Comes back with another right hand.
And exactly what Bob Lewis told Dokes not to do, to move straight back. Watch the left hook. The left hook just lands.
And it got Coetzee right off of him. So both men were tagged.
Coetzee is too erect. He's too straight up. And he's susceptible for left hook. The right hand is down. Michael Dokes has very fast hands. And the left hook, once again, being redundant, the left hook could be the key. But I would agree with Larry. Coetzee seems so calm and so composed.
Very much so, much more so than I've ever seen Gerrie Coetzee be. He also seems to be conserving himself a little bit, which is something he hadn't done. Good left hand. Dokes was hurt.
Dokes needs to get out of that corner. He should keep it staying in the center of the ring. Because Coetzee now is trying to load up. He's throwing bombs, overhand rights.
And a right hand by Coetzee, back with a left. Dokes fighting back with a right hand of his own.
Bro, the punch they're throwing now, they put all their weight behind it. It's either going to be the left hook by Michael Dokes or a solid right hand by Gerrie Coetzee.
Nobody's wasting any punches here, too. Both men seem, and there's cut from the right eye of Gerrie Coetzee.
Now you may see Michael Dokes come to life.
I was just about to say that cuts have been a problem of Gerrie Coetzee, and early on, there is a cut over the right eye, and it's bleeding reasonably heavily.
It's hard to say right now if it's on the lid or just under the eye or just to the side of the eye. Let's see if we can have a closer look at it in his corner. It looks like it's just above the lid and below the eyebrow. That is not a good place to have a cut.
It's in a very bad spot.
Let's take some of the... Here's a good straight right hand, followed by a left by Coetzee. That combination may have won him that round. On my card, Coetzee has won both rounds. This is following form, as you've noted before, Barry. He has been the early leader in all of his big fights.
Now, of course, the entire complexion of the fight can change because of the cut over the right eye of Coetzee. And immediately it starts bleeding again. So his corner did not do much in the way of stopping that cut. Dokes certainly will work on it. He's got a lot of time, a long way to go.
A good cut man is so important in the corner because he has to administer that cut, keep it from flowing, and to make sure it doesn't become a handicap.
And with the cut over the eye, as Larry Merchant mentioned, much more serious than word alongside the eye. Hard to see that left hand coming. And this could just mean nothing but problems for Gerrie Coetzee. Should point out also that Pinklon Thomas cut Coetzee over the right eye late in the going of his last fight.
Michael Dokes, because we fought on amateur teams together, he can turn, like I was saying, very few fighters can turn that jab into a left hook. And Michael Dokes is one of those fighters that can do that.
Dokes has improved steadily. Had a real good test against Weaver the last time, and it might have kind of perked him up. He's been a little bit lackadaisical in some of his training methods. Whether or not he was this time will show tonight.
I like those shots thrown to the body by Michael Dokes. And for a big heavyweight, those body shots, they take their toll in the later rounds.
Dokes now seems very patient.
One thing about Michael Dokes also is when a fighter attacks him, he goes down to a little crouch and he comes up throwing so many combinations. Especially the left hook, Barry.
Cut over the eye, not appreciably worse in this round than it was at the end of the last round.
You notice Michael Dokes just drilled that right hand to the body. Just then attempted to go a left hook, right hand. And what he's doing now, he's making Coetzee think he's just going to go to the body, and he makes a right hand to the head shortly. This is the way you confuse the fighter.
Both fighters being very patient here. Obviously aware that this is a long haul, and needless to say, aware that neither one of them has ever really been known as a guy who could go the full distance. Even though Michael Dokes did the last time against Weaver, but he did run out of gas between the 4th and the 9th rounds, came back in the 10th and 11th, and then lost the last 3 on everybody's card but one.
Coetzee is waiting for one opportunity, and that's that right hand. What he wants to do, he wants to come across That was good right hand to the body by Michael Dokes. What Coetzee wants to do is to set Michael Dokes up on that right hand.
And a round in which the eye did not get much worse, and that might be of some significance.
But I think that cut eye may have influenced the fight because suddenly Coetzee was more of the counter puncher than we saw him in the first 2 rounds, and that could lead to a dull fight, a tactical fight.
First round, you threw that right to the body, hook back to the head, and it was very effective. Try that again.
Right to the left.
Yeah, right to the side, left hook back to the head. And keep working that jet.
Here's Michael Dokes.
Making the move to the right, up, down. Don't lower the hand. Head and body moves up and down, right? Upper body, it moves. Upper body, it moves.
There you can see the cut. It is not clear in that shot where the blood is coming from, but it is coming from above the lid and below the brow, the eyebrow.
Green physician did come in to take a look at the eye, however, that is all he did was just take a quick look and leave the ring. It does not appear right at the moment that the eye is of any threat, at least to the stoppage of the fight so far as Gerrie Coetzee is concerned. Not right now, but it is in a nasty place. This is the 4th round.
Coetzee corner, they really like that right hand to the body and left hook to the head that Coetzee delivered in the first round. This is what Michael Dokes, he shouldn't be. You see what Coetzee is doing now. He's just praying with Michael Dokes, trying to measure him for that right hand. He's getting closer, and there. He was able to land, but it wasn't a clean blow.
Coetzee again being aggressive here, as Larry Merchant mentioned, started to be the counterpuncher in the 3rd round. He's come back a little bit more aggressively here in the 4th.
I think it's a very tactical fight on the part of Coetzee. He's not wasting any energy. Once again, well, he tried to throw that shot to the ribs and left hook to the head. There, he attempted to try it again. But he's leaving himself wide open, Barry, for a left hook, a counter left hook.
Little swelling under the right eye of Michael Dokes, although that's been there since the middle of the 1st round. Seems to be getting a little bit worse. It does not seem to be a major problem right at the moment. It could become a factor.
And we see a little thing now from Gerrie Coetzee. Wait for the right hand. He tried it again, Barry, but he missed.
Step back clean.
Again, it's interesting to me that both fighters really adhering to their corner's advice.
See, Dokes can't take the chance of staying in the corner. What he should be doing is utilizing his speed, keeping Coetzee in the center of the ring, box him.
Dokes getting the better of that.
What's also, I think, is creating somewhat a little of a slight problem for Michael Dokes is just the slight difference in height.
Something to consider, too, is the fact that after the 4th round against Mike Weaver was when Michael Dokes appreciably ran out of gas. And this, of course, is the 4th round. So conditioning could really become very much a part of this fight.
A beautiful shot. Right hand to the midsection by Gerrie Coetzee. Somewhat of a backhand.
Definitely was a backhanded punch, and Tony Perez will have a little talk about that. Again, blood flowing somewhat freely from the right eye, although right now it appears to be alongside and a little bit below the eye.
Mouthpiece.
All right, let's listen into Dokes' corner now.
Listen, upper body, it's got to move. It's got to move. You understand? Yeah, but watch yourself when you lay there. I don't want you making a habit of laying on the rope when you're there. I don't want you making a habit of laying yourself on that rope when he's coming, right? Now, he's coming at a count of 3. He does that little funny movement, and on the count of 3, he does it 3 times. Then he's making a move, and he raises up to fire the right hand, just like you're seeing it. But make sure, one time you catch him on there, if you get him right, set him up right, back eye, and then run your set. But I want you to have the most of the ring to your back, so you can move the way you want to move. where you didn't want to move. You understand? You're boxing at close range.
Get off the ropes, in other words.
I'll tell you, if you ever wonder why they call this the sweet science, it is, in fact, a science.
Exactly what it is. And you have to be versatile. You can't just fight one way. And Michael Dokes is capable of doing that. Now we see the tables are somewhat turning. Michael Dokes is starting to become aggressive. And this may create problems with Gerrie Coetzee.
And again, we get now to the point of the fight where conditioning can start to play a factor.
I love those shots to the body. They're beautiful shots.
Coetzee keeps pawing at that eye with the back of his glove, which would certainly indicate that it could be giving him a bit of a problem here.
I think what Michael Dokes wants Coetzee to do is to throw his punches. And then after he's finished throwing his series of combinations, he's going to come back. And you notice Dokes always throws punches. He throws left hook to the body, left hook to the head.
A good right hand, and Dokes is down. Flush on the side of the face. Dokes does not appear to be hurt. He'll take the 8 count.
It was more of a flash knockdown, but it was a beautiful right hand by Gerrie Coetzee. Now watch Coetzee go back to the body and up to the head. Watch for the overhand right again. The left hook by Coetzee just landed.
Dokes does not appear to be hurt. We must point out that right hand a little bit short. A good left hand counter punch by Dokes.
Dokes is a little dazed now. That right hand is starting to land. And you see what's happening, bro, is the fact that Coetzee is trying to land a right hand. When it doesn't land, Michael Dokes is able to connect with the good left hook.
Just the simple fact that he managed to knock Michael Dokes down, which has not happened in his professional career, as Dokes comes back on a hard right of his own.
Coetzee should stay on top of Dokes now if he wants to take his title. You see, when you hurt a fighter, you don't let him recover. You take advantage of it. Those body shots, I like those body shots. I don't like what he's doing now with the reaching in, because he's susceptible to be hit by a counter punch.
He started to get a little wild, actually, just before he scored with the right-hand punch that put Dokes down.
Gerrie Coetzee could also be a little arm weary, and now he's starting to telegraph his punches. You see that, he's starting to miss.
Dokes has gotten himself in trouble on the ropes.
Watch the right hand, once again to the body.
Crowd very much alive. Remember, it's a pro-Dokes crowd. And so it could be a little bit misleading, although I'll tell you, Gerrie Coetzee is getting a lot of crowd support.
That tactical fight suddenly turned into a brawl with that one right hand. You have to give Dokes credit for standing back and fighting like a real champion, wanting to come back at him. Let's take a look right here. A left followed by a clean right, and Dokes went down on one knee. It was a clean flash knockdown. He wasn't really dazed, but he took 2 clean punches and a nice combination to put him down. There it is again.
It was measured by that left jab.
You understand? Don't get on them ropes. That's where he wants you. And when you find your hook, you're raising up with your right hand down. Deep breath up. Up. Once more. Let's go.
We saw why Dokes is a championship caliber fighter when he fought back, trying to regain the initiative. This could be a crucial round for him.
This round here, I'm expecting Gerrie Coetzee just to take his time, and because he exerted a lot of energy that round. He put Dokes down, and now he just going to take his time, maybe throw a few jabs until he gets Dokes in a position to throw some punches.
Gerrie Coetzee historically has been about an 8-round fighter. That's where things have turned for him around the 8th round. We saw a graphic just a couple of moments ago about the average length of a fight of Michael Dokes.
You see not too much action from Gerrie Coetzee, just buying his time.
it really is beginning to look here, as we mentioned, and I hate to be redundant also, but conditioning could play a very important part in this fight.
It will play an important part, Barry, because these guys are heavyweights. They start off at a very fast pace. Dokes was put down, and now Gerrie Coetzee may be a little arm weary from the series of punches that he was able to throw and land.
That cut over the eye of Coetzee is really no worse than it was when it happened in the second round.
Once again, Coetzee is just trying to measure Dokes for that devastating right hand.
And a little bit of blood from the nose of Michael Dokes. And once again, it means he might have to breathe through his mouth a little bit more, and you don't want to see a fighter do that.
Dokes been going to the body pretty much the length of this start of the first round. And I'm looking for him to go to the head once in a while.
There's a right hand lead with a left hand behind it. Right now, it seems like Gerrie Coetzee is dictating the tempo of this fight, Ray.
Well, Michael Dokes respects the punching power of Gerrie Coetzee. Whenever a fighter's knocked down, he quite naturally has the respect. And those shots to the body, they take so much out of you.
Not much damage in that last exchange.
I've never seen Gerrie Coetzee throw an uppercut, and this is what he could do against Michael Dokes when Dokes go down.
Getting that jab into the face of Michael Dokes now, and he really hasn't been able to do that before in this fight. Changing his tactics almost from round to round.
Michael Dokes is anticipating the right hand of Gerrie Coetzee.
A quiet round, but I can't help but wonder, Larry, if that might not be by design.
Well, it shouldn't be by the design of Dokes. He's behind in this fight. One of the surprising things is that he has not worked on Coetzee's eye, and he hasn't thrown that jab very much either, Ray. Let's listen to the corner of Coetzee.
Take about 3 nice big deep breaths. Come on. Let him get
Well, they're doing this round in Afrikaans, and we don't have our UN interpreter with us.
Oh, I can tell you what they're saying. You're telling me he's doing a fantastic job.
Are you surprised that Dokes hasn't thrown his left jab, or is he afraid of the counter right?
I think he's a little punch shy now because of that flash knockdown. But Dokes is tough.
But if nothing else, Coetzee has captured his attention.
Yes, that was very easy. Michael Dokes has a superior left jab, and I'm surprised he's not using it. He's been popping to the belly every so often, but now once again he's flat-footed. He's been flat-footed throughout the whole fight.
Right from the opening bell.
And I think what he wants to do is land some heavy shots to the body.
Again, the right-hand lead gets in on the face of Michael Dokes.
Watch when Michael Dokes jab to the body. I'm looking for a right hand to the head to follow.
For the moment, the bleeding over the right eye has stopped. Another right-hand lead right to the face.
That's the reason that Bobby Lewis told Dokes not to move straight back, because this is the way that Gerrie Coetzee punches. When he punches, he gains momentum and he goes straight back. He follows you.
So another chopping right hand by Coetzee get in on Dokes. And Coetzee complains about the low blow, and Tony Perez agrees.
Now see, you notice now that Dokes is headed towards the ropes. Now he's away from the ropes. And this is where Coetzee wants him. Against the ropes or in the corner. Dokes should not be there.
And another good right hand by Coetzee.
You saw what happened there, Barry. Every time he gets the ropes or in the corner, Coetzee with those long arms and that powerful right hand, he's going to land, whether it's to the body, whether it's to the head.
That was a pretty good shot by Dokes, actually, but now Dokes with his back to the ropes.
This is becoming a very physical fight.
And Coetzee draws a warning for low blows. And another good right hand, and that might have hurt Dokes.
Dokes is hurt now. Just then, that combination there, whoever has landed would have been on the canvas for sure.
And there was your uppercut also, Ray.
Now watch the right hand again.
A left hand.
Now what's the uppercut? Oh, there should be an uppercut. That's the uppercut there. Now we should see a right hand by Gerrie Coetzee, because now he's still a little arm weary, and Dokes is definitely fatigued now.
Dokes he's also a little bit rubber-legged.
He's blowing, and now his arms, he's not punching anymore. Watch the right hand.
A left hand bouncing off the ropes.
Michael definitely is tired. Coetzee should go to his body and take advantage.
But you know in the back of Coetzee's head has got to be the fact that he is an admitted 10-round fighter. And he's got to be thinking about pacing himself.
Dokes is definitely fatigued. And so is Gerrie Coetzee. The Coetzee is going to work.
A big round for Coetzee.
It was a very big round for Gerrie Coetzee. He stayed aggressive. He landed some big shots, even uppercuts.
Michael Dokes is going to have to dig into some deep reservoir. I have him way behind in this fight. Here we see Coetzee coming on top of him, the complete aggressor. Dokes is trying to counter against him, but he's countering blindly, it seems, Ray, not with any real purpose.
He's not, and Larry, the fact that Dokes, when he's down, he just punches, throws a lot of shots, and not knowing exactly where his punches are going.
They're working more feverishly now in the corner of Coetzee on that eye. Jackie McCoy is the man in there. He's been training Coetzee for the last 6 weeks or so. A famous trainer from California who has had a number of champions and may have another one tonight.
This is the 8th round, and I'll tell you, you got two journeymen in the corners. Bobby Lewis in the corner of Michael Dokes, Jackie McCoy in the corner of Gerrie Coetzee.
They must have poured a bucket of water on Michael Dokes, and they do, and trainers do that to revive a fighter, to rejuvenate him. Once again, Larry, look how cool Gerrie Coetzee is. Taking his time, waiting for Michael Dokes to make a mistake, or waiting for an opportunity for Michael Dokes to move back into a corner or against the ropes where he should not be.
Well, throughout his career, this 8th round has been a very pivotal one for Gerrie Coetzee. Of the two, there's no question as to who is the stronger right now. Good right hand by Dokes.
Well, see, this is the round that the critics are saying that both men fatigue very fast in. And I guess we'll get our answer tonight. I don't see why Dokes is not going to the head with that right hand. He's quick enough to get away with it.
Also leaning in with his punches, not really getting much behind those punches is Michael Dokes. Incidentally, the swelling under the eye of Dokes no worse than it was. And the cut alongside the eye or above the eye of Gerrie Coetzee right at the moment, not bleeding at all. There's also a swelling under the eye of Coetzee as well.
I'm under the impression, Barry, that Michael Dokes is really trying to wait and pace himself and come on strong in the later round.
Both men scored with an exchange there.
Coetzee's right hand, it comes over. It's a straight punch, but it comes over, and with a lot of power.
Dokes still trying to go phenomenally downstairs. Trying to bring the arms down.
Oh, that was a great uppercut. That was a beautiful uppercut. But as I said earlier, he needs to come back with something. You can't rely on one punch unless you're bionic.
Coetzee fighting a very smart fight right now.
Dokes is really blowing hard from the mouth. His mouth is open. And that's now, just then, that combination was thrown by Michael Dokes. Coetzee has to be very careful because Michael Dokes always finishes a combination with a left hook.
And significantly in this round, there has been no blood from the eye of Gerrie Coetzee. Let's go into Michael Dokes' corner.
Now you're coming around. Now you're coming around too. And it's got to be moving. Yeah, I am. Now, and it's got to be coming around and you're moving it to the right. You're moving to the right. You're moving the head around. Then you're snapping the punches right there. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, we want to remind you that Inside the NFL comes your way on HBO every Thursday with Len Dawson and Nick Bonacani. So why don't you be with us every week for action highlights of every NFL game right on through Super Bowl 18.
All right, we're looking at Coetzee's corner. You know, one thing about Coetzee, that sometimes fatigue comes from tension and anxiety. And he has appeared so cool tonight, so perfectly calm in the ring, that we may not see that same fighter that we have seen in the past.
That's an excellent point. This is the 9th round. You heard Dokes' corner actually very pleased with their man. Dokes picks up the pace again now.
Also, Michael Dokes is on his toes now.
And a left hand sends Coetzee reeling against the ropes. I'm not sure if he was hurt or if he was just back on his heels.
No, he's just off balance, Barry.
The crowd loves it, but remember, this is a hometown favorite in Michael Dokes, although Coetzee has gotten an awful lot of support here in Cleveland.
Dokes needs to exemplify what he has, and that's that great hand speed.
Well, again, Dokes really came out up on his toes and moving quickly at the beginning of this round. Right now, he's back stiff-legged and flat-footed.
And once again, against the ropes and near a corner where Bob Lewis told not to be because Coetzee throws that right hand.
Three jabs, all got in, and a left hook.
You notice now that Coetzee punches are landing a lot cleaner. His jab, he's beaten Michael Dokes to the punch, and I'm surprised with that because Michael Dokes has superior hand speed.
And right now, it's going to be the story of cumulative effect on Michael Dokes, really. Coetzee's punches may not have quite the sting they had in the early rounds, but they're just piling up and piling up.
Look at Coetzee now. All he's doing is kitty-patting, setting him up, waiting to drop a bomb. But he can't be too lackadaisical because what'll happen, Dokes will come on very strong at the spur of a moment. Just then.
Good combination by Michael Dokes. Brings the crowd alive. Coetzee is not hurt.
Dokes should close his mouth. He's subject to a broken jaw.
Right hand to the ribs, right hand to the face by Coetzee. Left hook by Coetzee, and once more, Dokes had his legs wobble, and a right hand behind that.
You see what's happening, the mistake. They're exchanging blow for blow.
That punch was short by Dokes.
Now Coetzee here appears to be a lot stronger, yet Michael Dokes still seems to be hanging in there. And I think Michael Dokes feels that he hurt Coetzee with that combination he threw.
Saw one punch in that combination really land. That's a left hand by Coetzee.
Watch the uppercut, Byron. It should come any moment now. I'm very impressed with the way Coetzee is fighting.
Fighting a very smart fight and is very much in control at the end of 9.
Very technical fight.
There were 2 earlier heavyweight fights tonight. Alfredo Evangelista, who went 15 rounds with Muhammad Ali 100 years ago, scored a resounding upset over Ronaldo Snipes, one of the ranked heavyweights in the world. And Tim Witherspoon was tremendously impressive as he just ran right through James Quick Tillis in the first round with a TKO.
You're coming outside and you're moving to your right. And when then you get to your right. Then you get off to your right-hand side. Then you get off there.
As we saw at the end of that last round, the time is coming when Michael Dokes is going to have to go to war to save his championship.
Did you detect, Larry, a little bit of note of concern in the corner for the first time?
Well, if they aren't concerned, there's something wrong with their eyesight.
This is the 10th round.
Once again, Michael Dokes is drenched with water, which proves fatigue has set in on the fighter and trying to bring him back to life.
I didn't really mean so much concern implied as concern voiced.
You see what's happening? Michael Dokes is letting Coetzee beat him to the punch with the left jab and even the right hand. What Michael Dokes needs to do is match the jab of Gerrie Coetzee. And he'll stop all of that.
And again, it should be noted that eye has not been opened up for the last 3 rounds. So Coetzee not only in control of the fight, seemingly, but also now with the flow of blood stemmed from a cut that he suffered at the end of the 2nd round.
They're hollering from Dokes' corner for him to keep that chin down, and I think he better because see what happens. Coetzee punches up, he raises this left foot up, and he comes down with the right hand.
Dokes still breathing through his mouth a great deal.
All Gerrie Coetzee wants to do is let the left jab touch.
Scored with a hard right hand.
And he knows that right hand will follow, just like he did there. Dokes needs to move, keep this man in the center of the ring, or we're going to see this the rest of the fight, or if it should go that long.
Blood now slightly from the corner of Coetzee's eye once more, but it is alongside the eye, and it's not really bled in his eye.
And now we see him body shots again. Dokes seems to be a little hurt. He's wobbly now. He's wobbling. His legs are buckled.
And there's a solid right hand by Coetzee, and Dokes is in serious trouble.
Now, Dokes is seriously injured.
Dokes is out on his feet here if Coetzee can finish him off.
Coetzee just can't get wild. Just take his time and he can get his man out of there.
Dokes holding on.
He's doing the right thing, Barry. Hold on, clear his head.
15 seconds remaining in this round, and Coetzee is on him. Backhands the right hand. Dokes is out on his feet, but may get through the round.
I doubt it very seriously.
And he's down, and this could be it. Cannot be saved by the bell.
That's it.
He cannot be saved by the bell. It's over, and we have a new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, and I might add, it was well-deserved tonight.
It was a very strategic fight by Gerrie Coetzee. Michael Dokes, I don't know what was wrong, but the fact he laid back and he did just the opposite of what Bobby Lewis was telling him. Don't move straight back. Gerrie Coetzee was measuring him with that left jab and set him up for the right hand, put Dokes down, hurt him, and stayed on top of him.
The other side of the coin, of course, is you look at a man who is not the loser, folks. That is the winner and new champion, deliriously happy. But for all that Michael Dokes did wrong, Ray, Gerrie Coetzee did right.
Exactly, Barry.
And I mean, they got to be going crazy in South Africa. There was no question about it. It wasn't only the knockout. It was a man in control of this fight almost from the opening bell.
It was a very scientifically fought fight by Gerrie Coetzee.
Let's take a look at it once more, Ray.
Well, here we see Gerrie Coetzee now stepping aside, dropping that same right hand he's been dropping throughout the fight. Michael Dokes now is in trouble. He goes down.
Two booming right hands were what put him away, but it was a flurry of punches earlier.
Watch the power. The right hand lands, and Gerrie Coetzee takes his time, comes back with a double right hand.
And that was right at the end of the round. The man could not be saved by the bell, and we have a new champion just like that.
Here, Dokes trying to hold on, but Gerrie Coetzee had an opportunity, and he didn't let it get away from him. Right here, right hand lands. Michael is in serious trouble, and Coetzee lands another right hand. Dokes hits the canvas.
Well, we were saying earlier that Dokes is really out on his feet even before that. You can see in that shot that we just had that Dokes was a man who was already out. Right now, Larry Merchant's in the ring with a new champion. Larry?
The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world. What are your feelings at this moment, Gerrie?
I can just think of Mr. Don King giving me this opportunity. I don't realize what happened to me tonight. Really, I want to praise the Lord. I promised him that I want to thank him. I want to thank Mr. King.
You seemed from the very start more relaxed and confident than we've ever seen you in your previous 2 championship fights. Was that true?
I was very relaxed because I knew my hands are solid. It's okay. I worked hard, fighting tight. I didn't realize what a world title meant, and I didn't have a family. I love my family, and I've done it for them as well tonight.
Were you concerned that Dokes would rush to you early in the fight as he did to Weaver? Were you ready for anything?
Yes. I thought he's going to come quick at me. I want to thank Michael for giving me this opportunity so quick. But the first time I hit him with the right, I saw the expression on his face that he's been hit. My corner was telling me, go to work, but I knew Mark is getting tired. I worked hard, and it's got to come.
What about the cut on your right eye? From this angle, it looks like a very nasty cut. How concerned were you about it?
I was worried about that, especially in the 3rd and 4th round. I couldn't see well. But Jackie McCoy, Willie Locke, my dad, Cedric Kushner, this man over here, I've got to take the whole night to thank everybody, but I think these 2 persons were the greatest.
Were you surprised that he didn't work on your eye more than he did?
I knew if he's got to go open with the left, I'm going to hit him with the cross right.
So you're saying that because you got the respect from him of landing the right early in the fight, he was afraid to throw too many lefts at that damaged eye?
Yeah, but I hit him in the body bad shots as well. He didn't know where to block, to the body or to the head.
You showed none of the fatigue that we've seen in the past in the middle of the fight. Was that why was that?
I'm training in America. I'm working in America. America is a great, great country. The people are sports people. And I want to thank the American people for all their support. And I want to thank the South African people coming to see me, have a lot of faith in me.
What about Jackie McCoy? What has he done for you over the last few weeks that you hadn't had before?
He improved my left hand tremendously. The left hook, that's where I really shook Dokes as well. And that's the one I think set him up for the right.
What kind of a champion do you want to be, Gerrie Coetzee?
I want, honestly, be the people's champ.
What does that mean?
I want to be everybody's champ. I don't want to be a specific person's champ. I want to be the world champ.
You're saying you don't want to be just a champion of South Africa or white people, but also of black people and everyone.
Everybody. There's a saying, if your country is right, if they are wrong, it's your country. You can't throw them away, you still love them. But I really love America, and I love Mr. King for giving me this chance. I never believed that he's going to give me this opportunity. Thank you, Mr. King.
Do you want to fight Larry Holmes now and unify the title? That would be an immense fight right now.
Larry, have we got time to can I tell you something?
Sure.
I was at Atlantic City when Snipes fought Berbick, and I wanted to meet him, but we'll talk later about that. I'm looking forward to it.
You're saying that you're not very fond of Larry Holmes.
No, not at all.
Thank you very much for a great fight, Gerrie Coetzee.
Thank you very much. Thanks
Okay,
to
thank you very
America
much,
again.
Larry Merchant. And we are still looking into the corner right now of Michael Dokes, who is still, I think, perhaps maybe even more stunned than he might be hurt. But it was interesting to me, Ray Leonard, that Gerrie Coetzee seemed almost as calm in talking with Larry Merchant as he was in the way he fought his fight tonight.
Well, Barry, I think that was the key to the whole fight. The fact that Gerrie Coetzee was very calm, very collected. He took his time, and what Michael Dokes did wrong, Gerrie Coetzee did right.
And I think you're looking at a very stunned former champion right now. The graphic that you just saw pretty much said it all. The first professional loss for Michael Dokes.
Well, it's the first loss for Michael Dokes to come back. You know, I lost my first fight against Duran. The fact of being young, quite naturally, he's really hurt, emotionally disturbed. But Michael Dokes is the type of fighter, an individual that can come back.
It was a perfect fight so far as Gerrie Coetzee is concerned. It's not one of those fights where you go away saying, what if, and there's really not any wouldas or shouldas or couldas about this fight.
Well, every fight, you have to be very strategic and very tactical. Gerrie Coetzee had the right plan for Michael Dokes. Michael Dokes was exceptionally great champion, but Gerrie Coetzee proved that he was ready for Michael Dokes.
Another interesting thing, too, now you really have to look at what is this going to do to the heavyweight division. It's just going to cause all kinds of shakeups in the heavyweights.
Shakeups, yes, but you know one man's going to clear that up is Larry Holmes.
All right, I know one guy who's going to clear it up right at the moment. That is the man who is standing in the ring, Larry Merchant, our sage. Larry?
Okay, I thought there was a golden opportunity for someone here tonight. Frankly, I thought the golden opportunity was for Michael Dokes, the champion, because the other champion, Larry Holmes, has been in a sort of retirement on the job, so to speak, uncharacteristically fighting the weakest fighters he can fight instead of the strongest. The golden opportunity turned out to be the underdogs in a monumental heavyweight championship upset. This sets up a tremendous fight with Larry Holmes and perhaps others. The heavyweight division is now back and will probably soon assume its rightful place as the division everyone wants to see. Back to Barry and Ray.
Okay, thank you very much. And your reaction, Ray Leonard? A surprise, Ray Leonard, at that? Let's make a deal. What did you think overall? I mean, the guy fought what seemed, at least to me, as a layperson, to be a perfect fight.
I thought it was a perfect plan carried out by Gerrie Coetzee, and the fact that he demonstrated qualities that are possessed in a champion. Technique, scientific techniques, everything. He did everything right.
I would have to think that even coming into this fight, Gerrie Coetzee, the new champion, didn't think he could knock out Michael Dokes.
You know, for some reason, I think he did. I'm sure he was confident, something that we said he lacked, but he walked into the ring very composed, very collected, and he did a very good job.
We said that the fight against Mike Weaver, the second Mike Weaver fight, was a real test for Michael Dokes. What do you suppose this one is going to mean to him now?
Well, it's going to mean going back to the drawing board, starting all over again, and not giving up.
So, but we have a new champion. He is Gerrie Coetzee. He fought a perfect fight. Here is one more look at that knockout, and he was simply brilliant, Ray.
Well, the fact that Gerrie Coetzee was so aggressive and tenacious, here he sets up Michael Dokes. He kept that left hand going. That right hand was effective all night, and the right hand was the punch that did the job.
Well, he had a chance against Larry Holmes. He didn't do it. He had a chance against John Tate. He didn't do it. And it's an old cliche to be sure, but tonight for Gerrie Coetzee, the third time, was a charm. Be sure and tune in every Thursday for HBO Sports Inside the NFL. Join Len Dawson and Nick Bonacani for all the highlights and latest breaking stories surrounding the NFL. Check your listings for the times in your area. Also, don't miss our next telecast of World Championship Boxing when WBC Super Featherweight Champion Hector Macho Camacho takes on #1 contender Rafael Solis. That's live November 18th on HBO. So for Sugar Ray Leonard and Larry Merchant, I'm Barry Tompkins saying so long from the Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio, where Gerrie Coetzee has defeated Michael Dokes with a knockout to win the WBA heavyweight title. The executive producer